What we're going to do in this video is take a look at how we can add some text to an image in a very non-obtrusive, elegant way. This works great for event templates to where you don't want to cover the people in the event up, but you do want to get some text in there. So what I'm going to do here is let's move my layers palette out a little bit, and we're going to work on the right-hand side of this photo. I'm going to start off by grabbing the shape tool, and it's right under the type tool over here in the toolbox. It's called the rectangle tool. I'm going to select that one. I'm going to set my foreground color to white, and then up here in the options bar, I'm going to choose the leftmost icon. All right, you can see it right up there, right under the word Photoshop. See it? Let me zoom in a little so you can see it. And that's the shape layers option. So I want to select that icon inside there. If I use the other ones, it's not going to work as well. So grab that shape layer icon and let's just drag a shape over here onto the canvas. If you don't get it right the first time, you can just move it around. Hold down your spacebar key and notice I can move it around all around the image here. So I'm going to put it right about here. Let go here. Let's move my layers palette over. And so now what I have in here is a rectangular shape. However, it's just a big white block at this point, and it's very obtrusive. That's what we're going to try to avoid here. So I am going to drop my opacity down. And you see what happens? See how we start to get this kind of like a back screened effect? All right, now when I turn this on and off, you can still see the rectangle there, but you can also see part of the photo behind it. So now at this point, what I would do is grab my type tool, and I'm going to use a script font here. There's a few script fonts that come with Photoshop. I think this one works pretty good. You also have brush script. And let's go ahead and say, on this day, I take you to be my wife. Thank you, etc., 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 etc. All right. So obviously it might be something a little bit more meaningful than etc., 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 but you get the idea. And now what I would do is take my move tool and move this text into place here, maybe position it right over the center. And at this point, it's really just a personal preference. First of all, what color do you want your text to be? You can see here, I can make mine white, or I can make it black. You'll also want to put your text on top of the shape layer here, and you can see here when I change it to white or black, you can see how the effect changes. Personally, I'll give you my recipe, and that is I make the text layer on top of here. It doesn't stick out quite the way I want, but I go to the layers palette and I go down to drop shadow, and I don't add the typical drop shadow here. Let's move the layer style dialog into place. I don't add the typical drop shadow. What I do is I take down the size setting, and see how it takes the soft drop shadow and makes it very harsh? And then I just knock my distance setting down here until it's right up inside with the text. Just a 1 pixel distance setting, and then I drop my opacity down. And what that does is you can see here, it puts a little bit of an outline around one side of the text here, and it makes it a lot easier to read. Let's take a look. This is before, and that's after. It's a small change, but it really helps out. Click OK, and now you have yourself a very nice template that you can reuse for different photos or just add some different text on here. The whole key is you add any type of a shape. All right, you start off with your photo, add a shape layer to it. It can be any shape. If you look over here in the toolbox, you'll see not only do we have the rectangles, but we have a rounded rectangle, ellipse tool, polygon, so it can be any shape. You place that shape, just draw it onto your canvas here, and then click on that shape layer and drop your opacity down. And by doing that, you're going to give yourself a way to add some text on the photo, and it's going to look a heck of a lot better than if I just did that. All right, that's what it looks like without the shape. When I put the shape in there, it kind of gives a place for it. It gives a place for your eye to go.